Because I think there wasn't a single person out there who actually thought Sabo was dead from that flashback.
Absolutely not. But then it's kind of after that situation, Oda had okay, dang, should I kind of have to bring Sabo back at this point, because I think he was reluctant. I know he planned on killing Ace, but then I think his editors were saying not to do it.
Yeah, his editors begged him not to kill Ace, but Oda said, well, it's already done.
Yeah. He said that
I've
was
already decided.
That was something he decided on before Marineford. So.
Yeah, he said he decided that Ace was gonna die the moment he introduced him.
Yeah.
So he was cursed from birth, not only by the world of One Piece, but by Oda himself.
By the author. It's bad luck, man. Just so unfortunate. But we'll talk a bit more about Ace because I think he's relevant to the chapter as well. But yeah, it's so many things to get to in this chapter. I guess we can start with like how I broke it up when I was looking at it. Was this first section is like aftermath, right? This is the aftermath of everything that transpired at the Reverie. So we have all these people stowing away. Interestingly enough, a lot of people stowing away on the ships that are all rebelling currently against.
What a weird coincidence that is.
Yeah, there's
3 for 3.
Yeah, they're stowing away on those ships. I feel a bit for Igaram, Shaka, and Pell. They lost both Cobra and Vivi.
I feel like the minute they get back to Alabasta, I'd give up my job.
You can't do that. That cannot happen. Like
them giving up their jobs, I don't think they will, but I personally would. Like, I lost the king, I lost the princess. I literally saw them like 2 minutes ago. I'd be so embarrassed.
Yeah, that's
like, I feel for them.
That's embarrassing. But yeah, we have Bonnie stowing away and Sabo stowing away. And at this point, Sabo looks jacked up, bro. He looks like he's on the brink of death. I'm like, I did not know. You know what this looks like?
What's up?
Sabo's injury looks worse than when Luffy and Katakuri stabbed himself.
It really does. I mean, do you see the way he's like grimacing in pain? Like, I don't know what that tail or arrow was coated in, but it's something more advanced than hockey.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that.
It's crazy. It's crazy, bro. So it's just like, it's one of those things where we know Sabo's not going to die because he's kind of the main character of this whole thing right now, right? Like, when Luffy's not there, Sabo's the main character, it seems
Luffy can't lose another brother.
He can't.
That'd be too rough.
He can't lose another brother. So right now, the blonde hair, he might be Kurapika of this situation. You know what I mean? On a ship, not seeing the main character. I don't know. Might have some Hunter x Hunter vibes going on. So we know Sabo's not going to die, but he got jacked up. I didn't expect him to be that jacked up. So it's
Do you think he took more than just one hit? Because we did have a little time skip in the last chapter. So maybe he took more hits? Or do you think this is just all due to one attack from Eam?
While running away, he got
stabbed once while carrying King Cobra.
I think it's just the one stab because.
Dang.
I don't know if he's ever gotten hit like this before because people
That's
saying
speaking heavily on Imu's power.
Yeah, I mean it's tough because it's like, all right, he's not intangible because he's carrying Cobra, so that could be the reason why he was invulnerable and he was able to get hit. But if it's one hit, I mean, it's just, man, Imu was on a different level to do this to Sabo.
God tier.
So. Well, we know he's a god, but we find out more about Emo as we move forward. Which we have the Elder Stars, right? And they're basically talking about Sabo. But even in the midst of Sabo, at the end, Emu still wants BB. But something interesting is that Oda mentioned in the last chapter. It's about Sabo and him being a D, and saying, "Yo, like." It seems like he's like them, you know what I mean? Like he's constantly surrounded by them. It's almost like if they're asking, is he a D as well? How did you feel about that section?
I feel like Sabo is a D at this point. Not like officially, like it's not like his dad gave him the D or anything. I think just what the Elder Stars say, like, oh, he's constantly surrounded by a lot of Ds, right? Yeah. And then we saw in the flashback, Ace gave Sabo the D as well. So I feel like just the combination of both of them, it spit roasted Sabo straight into having a D, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it's think about Sabo's upbringing, right? Of course he was a royal, and He grew up in Goa Kingdom, but for the most part, his childhood was around Luffy, Ace, Garp, and his adult life has been around Dragon. So essentially, he was raised by the D, right? And so he's an adopted D for all intents and purposes. And so like his actions, his mindset, his demeanor, it's gonna feel like that because that's all he knows. That's literally all he knows. He doesn't accept Stelly and that part of his life. He hates that. Like what he accepted was Luffy, Ace, how they live, their way of life. So Sabo, I think, carries on the narrative or the message of we are all D's because we're anti the world government. And so I think that's what Oda's kind of driving home here, like based on Sabo and how he's acting. They even think he's a D. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and something the Gorosei say, they say he seems to have a checkered fate. And that's exactly what Sengoku said about Law when he found out that Law was a D.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's something there. There's a connection there.
Yeah. But
I consider him Sadibo from now on.
Nah, he's definitely Sadibo, even if the D is an add-on, right? He like changed his name. But either way, it's how he lives his life, right? There are few people that are more anti-world government, anti-establishment than Sabo at this point, right? He tried to end One Piece, bro.
Like, he really did. Like he was like, I gotta take out Imu and the Gorosei. I'm gonna do it right here.
As content creators, we should feel some type of way because it's like, bro, come on.
Yeah, as content creators and people who want One Piece to go on, we don't like Sabo. You heard it here first.
You know, but Sabo, come on, slow down. We said I thought I could take them all out. Like
the pacing is scuffed.
My thing is like, you thought you were gonna take them all out with a fire fist, but I guess if they were regular men, like if they're regular people, but come on, like.
Yeah, if they were regular people, they just burned to death, and now that would be kind of like, oh, woo, Sabo did it, but also he just like killed 6 people.
Yeah, there's 6 old men.
He just burned them alive. 6 old men.
You know, it's just crazy.
My grandpa over there.
But no, for the Elder Stars at this point, they get bullied by Imu.
They really do. I mean, I love seeing this because it's not something I expected. For some reason, I expected Imu to be this mastermind, like Evel Knievel, man-dark kind of character.
Yeah.
But then in this chapter, they seem, I wouldn't say childish, but it seems like they're not afraid of getting rid of or using any piece in front of them.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to have the same mindset that Sabo had, but Dragon was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, so they have that mindset somewhat because of Imu, right? But there's a theory floating around based on language and how they speak, which is something interesting that for us as native English speakers, we don't really get that side of it because even with Sandman, I recently talked about how speech is impactful in One Piece and how people say things. And I'm not sure if you know this, but do you know who? Well, Sandman said this based on their speech in the story that they've never met somebody as rude as her. And
Perona.
You know, okay.
Oh, I know everything about Perona.
Yeah, okay. So Perona's
34, 26, 172.
It's funny. I was like, because I made a video about it. I was like, I can see why Sai would like Perona because she's like a cute girl with a potty mouth. That kind of reminds me how like
it's a thing out there. It's what we look out for, right, boys?
It kind of reminds me.
Can I get a P in the chat?
Well, listen, that's how we view Ulti. That's why I like Ulti.
Yeah, I think me and you meet in the middle with Ulti, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's an extreme
that's like the bridge
Perona.
For us.
Yeah, I love Ulti, bro. I love
me
Ulti.
and you are like a Kainu and Aokiji, but the minute it becomes like somebody's safety, we just hop together.
Yeah, exactly. But then
we jump together on the Ulti bridge.
Bonnie has the same feel as well. Like
Bonnie has the same feel, but she always has like meat on her mouth or like some food on her cheek, and I think that's a little bit of a turn off. Yeah, it's dirty. It's dirty. Not a big fan of that one.
Yeah, it's not the same way.
How do we get here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Somehow
speech.
Always come to this.
Oh, speech. Yeah. So it's like how speech is important and how like even with Shanks, right? But we'll talk about Shanks towards the end and how Shanks' speech that impacts stuff as well. How he speaks to certain people, how they speak to him. But yeah, so Imu was bullying them and saying that they have to use the Mother Flame in Lelouchia because they're trying to figure out a way to test it in a logical way, right? It's talking about the sea, right? Talking about the forest, and it was just like, no, Lelouchia Kingdom. And it's like, but there's a lot of people, I don't care. And then, you know, they're kind of, Mars seems to be an emu stan, right? Because like after Emu says, I don't care, right? That's of no consequence. He's like, well, I get it. The world moves at the will of the creator. I'm like, come on, bro. Like,
no, all these dudes are coping. I think every single one of the Gorosa members are coping hard with this decision.
The only one that kind of challenged him was Jupiter.
Yeah.
Who said, all right, that's cool, but why are we choosing Lelouchia, right? And that's when Emu said, well, it's close, which I think
That's a great answer.
A great answer.
That's so good.
It's a great answer, which makes sense considering the Mother Flame and how we expect it to be a knockoff, and it's a test, right? So you don't want to send this thing to Wano, right? You want to send it all the way over there. You send it to Lelouchia, see what happens, bring it back, and then you go from there. You want to
instant result.
Just quickly assess the situation. But like I said, Mars is an Emu fanboy, because even after that, he's like, well, Lelouchia citizens, they have been trying to rebel lately.
Yeah,
right?
they're trying to find reasons. It's like someone trying to interpret the word of God, right?
Yeah.
Like God will say something really mundane or, you know, something simple. And then people will try to be like, okay, but there's deeper meaning behind that. There's got to be some intense or some grand plan that God is working towards.
Or even if it's something extreme,
it makes
right?
sense.
Then they're like, well, there's a reason behind it. So
yeah, there's a reason. We just don't understand because we're just mere people.
Or if we bring it down to something simpler, like it's like a mean girl and her clique, and then she says something, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, that's why she's doing
popular.
It.
We got to go along with it."
You know. So like, they're stuck. Something that I thought about was, because looking at their eyes, right? Their eyes tell me something. Like in the chapter,
they're jaded, bro. These guys are jaded.
And how Oda kind of draws their eyes a bit shaded. They're not happy with this decision, right? They're not like, it doesn't seem like this is something that they're enthusiastic about. Just look at their eyes and how they're like, God, I don't know. Do you think this?
I feel the exact same way.
Like their eye is saying something.
Yeah. Back in Ohara, when they had a Buster call them, I think some of these Gorosei members also had shaded eyes as well. And that's why some people were like, oh, maybe like Saint Saturn's going to betray the world government. Maybe that's why he's coming to Egghead Island. Yeah. But then we see at this chapter, it's not just one or two people that feel jaded. It kind of feels like all of them are like, we have to kill more innocent people.
Yeah. Where they know they can't go against Emu. But my thing is like, what do they want? You know, do they want the same things? Are they all on board? Because if they've been all living for a long time, I'm sure it's gotten to a point where it's just like, all right, bro, like we're doing some messed up things, man. Like, I mean, are we really on the path that we started out on? Because they're all saint something, right? And so at this point, I wonder if there are any of them that actually started out trying to make the world a better place. I wonder, because like they clearly have a problem with this, but they can't do anything. They can't say anything, or they're gonna die. What
can you say to God though, right?
You really can't. You just gotta accept it.
Yeah, you just kind of have to accept it and hope that everything works out in the end.
I like how Oda's
it's like what Marcus Mars says, right? He says like, the world moves at the will of the creator.
Wait, do you see like Emu's Denden Mushi?
Bro, I don't know what's going on with that Denden Mushi. It copied the crown, the head, the pointiness.
But that's my thing.
That is a cursed existence.
Is that like Emu's design then, and not a crown? Or
no. Snails can copy. It
can copy like accessories, right? Okay.
Yeah. It could still be a crown.
It's such a weird look, man. Like,
I feel like Oda was laughing when he drew that. There's no way he wasn't.
Yeah, because it's like a long, elongated crown. The head, the eyes look like it's where the shoulders are.
We got more butterflies in the background,
right,
which I think are more important than we initially realized.
What's the significance of butterflies, you think?
I have don't ask me about that one, but we saw butterflies when Emu was first introduced, and people were like, oh, like emus maybe a girl, maybe they just like a lot of bugs and insects, and then we see it the second time and it's like, okay, maybe the room is just inhabited by butterflies. And then the third time we see it, it's like, okay, butterflies are gonna be important, I guess. I don't know.
So let's Google butterflies. There. I'm not a butterfly expert, but butterflies are significant symbols of transformation, freedom, and rebirth.
Ooh, rebirth. That's a cool one.
Right? So I know one of the things is floating around. I've been saying that what if Emu needs Vivi for rebirth? Because right,